The missing ingredient in everyone's success, including mine, boils down to this one word, and it's consistency. When I look back at everything that I've done in my life, um, specifically talking about business and opportunities when it comes to work, the one thing that's lacked has been consistency. The reason I say that is because I've started many ideas in my head, I've started many ideas in real life, but the missing ingredient has been consistency. Because as quickly as I've started some of these ideas, I've stopped them. Or I've started, I've done it for a bit, and then I got sidetracked or got busy or whatever it was. But the missing ingredient was consistency. Because when I look back at certain things that I have achieved, it's the consistency which has gotten me the success. And this is something which is very, very hard for a lot of people and entrepreneurs to really appreciate the importance of consistency. And it's a hard balance to strike in some respects. But for me, when I was training up to become a surveyor, that was a few years of training. I had to go back to university, I had to enroll on a structured training program. But the one thing that got me to the qualification in the end was consistency, because I felt like giving up most of the time. But if I'd given up, I wouldn't have been able to achieve the qualification. But I stuck it out, and then I got there in the end. But it really is the consistency that really brings everything together. Because if you just give up, then you will never know whether that idea could have been successful. Equally, I can point to people, and again, in my circumstances, where having that consistency, it replaces talent, right? Having that consistency and that discipline to keep going and keep going, eventually you must succeed. It might take you a lot longer, but you must succeed in the end. So I think we're often, we're often so focused on finding a quick fix or a quick solution, and this is being made worse by the convenience of technology. We expect things so much more quickly now, and it's bad. It's really bad for our patience and our perseverance and our consistency. But if you can just master consistency, and assuming you have a good idea, you genuinely have a good idea, or you genuinely have a good opportunity, then just keep going and keep going and keep going, and eventually you must break through. It might not be specifically in that field, it might be in something else. But unless you keep going forward, you don't know what that idea, what that opportunity could be. It could start off as one idea, but become something else. It could open up doors in other areas, but you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep moving forward. And it is very hard to keep that motivation, to keep that idea of consistency in your mind when the sales aren't coming in, the leads aren't coming in, when you're struggling with whatever it is in your business. It's very hard to keep that in mind, and you can't see the actual physical result of it straight away. But I guarantee if you keep at it, you will build the building blocks for success. And it's something which I've seen time and time again from people. They might not be the most talented in one area, or their footage, like mine, is terrible. But one thing I'm counting on, and one thing I know which is my biggest weakness from the past, is the lack of consistency. So if I can just keep going and going and going and be patient with myself and enjoy the process rather than focusing constantly on the end goal, then sooner or later I'll have the success on YouTube that I wish to have, or the success in my business that I wish to have. But if I give up, if I don't turn up every day, or whatever my posting schedule is, if I don't turn up and if I'm not consistent, then I stand zero chance. And that's simply it. That's all it boils down to. So my attitude and my sort of takeaway from this video is that, what I'm doing here on YouTube, I'll just post a small clip a day, even if it's a few seconds long. Even if it doesn't make much sense, I'm still going to post it, because I know that's my biggest weakness, and I also know that biggest weakness can be my biggest strength. So that's my advice to you. Just find something and stick with it, and sooner or later you'll get better at it. Now, of course, there's ways to shorten the curve and to achieve success quicker. But for most of us entrepreneurs who have an idea a minute, it is the consistency that we need to work on. It's not necessarily the idea. It's not about finding a hack. It's literally just about being consistent and getting the basics right. Get the basics right. Be consistent. Show up every day. Show up. And then you can worry about the hacks and stuff like that once you start seeing a bit of success. But don't fool yourself to think that success is quick to attain and that you can hack your way to it. It doesn't work like that. Or if it does work like that, it happens to very, very few people. But what most people lack is that consistency. The ability to keep going when you can't see the physical result. The ability to keep going when people say no and they close doors in front of you. The ability to keep going when you're losing money and it just seems like it ain't gonna work. So just keep going.